What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I don't know, I'm just so pumped up right now. I love this music that we got playing
So
right
good.
now.
So good.
So good. So good. It's awesome. So, sorry we missed you guys last week. It was the Memorial Day weekend, so we went ahead and took that weekend off. Spent time with our families, observe the holiday the best we could, just remember everybody that was lost. So, anyways, on to a more positive note, I guess. Not saying a holiday's a bad thing, but Tom, how's your past 2 weeks been, man?
That was pretty good. It was nice going back home to see my parents and my extended family over the holiday. And this week at work was a little crazy, but I'm glad that it is the weekend. How about you?
Oh man, it was a pretty good week for me. I took Tuesday off of work because I thought I was working Saturday. Then come to find out I'm not working Saturday, so I had a 3-day week, and it was pretty awesome. And then we did the Relay for Life in Avon, Indiana. It was this week, so I did that for about 8 or 9 hours. I was out there walking and helping with our company get our VAP for the Relay for Life people. So it was pretty awesome. So,
Nice.
anyways, couple of things to cover from the past 2 weeks. So last week we had the release of The Witcher 3. What is that?
Yeah.
Wild Hunt. And
Wild
then we
Hunt.
had the Destiny expansion, House of Wolves, come out last Tuesday, and then Friday we had Splatoon.
Yes,
2 days ago.
Splatoon.
So we're gonna get to those, but we're gonna start off with I guess the release. We're gonna go in the order of the release. So I guess first up would be Destiny. So we're gonna talk about pretty much the differences between vanilla to Crota, and then Crota to House of Wolves. Things that we like about the vanilla to Crota, and then the Crota to House of Wolves. What we like better, where we want to see it go for the next expansion, and then I guess we can do a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like
I don't know.
guessing or speculating for the next season pass, or
Right.
1 or 2 expansions before Destiny 2 comes out, because it's inevitable. They've already said Destiny 2 is coming out. So
Yeah, it's got to come out.
so Tom, why don't you run us through what you noticed and what you really liked about from vanilla to Crota?
So I had kind of a weird experience where I played for the first couple months the game came out on the PS4, and then pretty much the week before Crota came out, I got it on the One. So the biggest change, I think, going from one to the other was, we have a second set of bounties that you can do. You have these Eris bounties, and it's a whole different leveling system for your guns and your armor. Like, it works the same way. You have to get these shards from the raid, or these other are the like patrol missions and stuff. But really, it was just adding a whole other system on top of what already existed in Destiny. And to me, like, not having played many MMOs at all, like, it wasn't really a huge deal for me. I know you have some more experience with that, and some people, it really upset them that, why would you have this second system? It works the same, but now my old stuff is ruined. Like, I didn't really care. So it was pretty much just a whole new area to explore and a whole other raid.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, you came from the PS4 to the Xbox One, so you probably benefited more than anybody for the new expansion, because I worked. This is my story of vanilla Destiny. I started off with one Titan, and then I made a Warlock or a Hunter. I eventually had all 3 classes, and I got the achievements for all of them to level them up to max level. I did the raid with every single one of them at one point, but then that was about a month into the game. Then I had 3 Titans at one point, and I was running the hard mode raid 3 times a week to try and get gauntlets so I could be level 30. And then I hit level 30 2 weeks before the expansion. Our whole clan did. We were just the I'm doing terrible with words today. We were
Unlucky?
we were the unlucky group that could, I was missing gloves. I think Wizzle was missing a chest piece. I think somebody else was missing boots. Somebody else was missing gloves. And we're all just sitting here we just need one piece to hit level 30. And then the last 2 weeks before the Crota's End came, or the Dark Below came out, we all got our stuff and we're like, cool, we're level 30. Let's try the new raid's out. No reason to do the hard mode anymore.
Right.
But all of us were pretty upset whenever the new expansion came out, because the Vanguard gear that was available for commendations and or Vanguard marks and like the Vanguard commendation was
Right.
better than the gear that we spent the last 2 months getting. And I was not a fan of that at all. I was pretty upset that I could get to level 31 with the Vanguard gear, and yet I was only level 30 with my raid gear from the previous tier. That really upset me. Now, and then
To
like
me, it didn't matter.
yeah, for you, yeah, like I said, like you were the one that benefited from this, which was great.
Yeah.
And then what was it? The guns got up to 331, and I only had
Yep.
300. The only real benefit I had is the fact that I had like Fatebringer, Atheon, and Vision, so I had the Arc, the Solar, and the Void uh, primaries, which was great. For like the Nightfalls and even like the beginning of the Crota raid, it was good to have those. But the raid for Crota, I thought was pretty glitchy. It was hard,
Yeah.
but it was glitchy. Like it wasn't like it was super hard. If you could just get it to not glitch, you were great. But I know like
Yeah.
what was it? We
That
were
was-
doing the Crota raid for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we had issues with Crota, but it was always like something that was out of our control. Like the ogres
Right.
wouldn't spawn, then we go back out to fight Crota. Then the ogres would spawn while we were out there trying to fight Crota, and then
The sword bear would disappear.
the
when
sword
we
would
killed him.
disappear
The
and-
sword would be gone.
yeah, so it
Yeah.
was, but then after like a couple of patches, us just getting ourselves, accustomed to the fight and stuff like that, it wasn't
Right.
it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, I guess. So, but I mean, the
Yeah.
expansion for the Dark Below looked great. It was really dark. Going back to the moon was awesome because I really liked the way the moon looked. I love the
Yeah.
hive. I think the knights are ridiculously strong. The new weapons were awesome. There wasn't really any new abilities or anything like that, but then they started adding like
Yeah.
instead of just having the public events, you had the sword bearer and stuff like that would spawn, which is unfortunately now it's gone.
Yeah.
But
it
then,
is.
you mentioned on this a little bit, and I want to talk about it too. Was the different shards that you had? So before we had, I think I had like 250 Ascendant shards, 300 Ascendant energy
Right.
from running the Vault of Glass so much, and then this one comes out, and now you need Radiant shards and Radiant energy, and then you can trade it with Eris, but you have to be rank 4, which takes roughly about 2 weeks of dailies or
Yeah.
14 to 21 days of dailies to get that.
Yep. That was a grind.
Yeah,
Like-
it was.
And you absolutely had to do that. Otherwise, there was no way that you would get what you needed. Because every time you needed the energy to level up your weapons, you'd get shards, and every time you needed shards to level up your equipment, you would get energy. Like it never worked out that way. So clearly, you had to be level 4. Like there was no
Yeah.
other way to do that.
Because remember, I hit level 4, and I was like, I think I had like 2 or 3 shards, and I needed like another 21, and I had like 40 or 50 energy, and
Right.
I was just like losing all my black wax idols, losing glimmer like crazy. But I was like, I don't care, I need to level to 32, because I was like, I
Right.
was the sword bearer and stuff. So I was like, I have to be 32 because I have to be like the strongest player fighting against Crota, who's like was 31 or 32 for the normal raid.
Yep.
And then you get to the hard raid, which the differences were kind of minute, except for the fact that everything was harder and there was more of it. But
Right.
there were so many glitches, so many exploits for this raid that it was kind of sad because like every time that we ever did it as our 6-man clan, we were great. We did it by
Yep.
the book, by the rules, what you were supposed to do. Then if we ever had like only 5 out of the 6 would show up, we'd always bring somebody else in. They'd be like, "Oh, how we doing the bridge fight?" And we're like, "We're gonna stand on the
We're
pillars. We're
doing
gonna
it."
go across. We're gonna stand on the other pillars. We're gonna get everybody else across."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, I've never done it this way." And it's like that's just sad that this has
Right.
been out for like 2 or 3 months, and you have, or about a month and a half, 2 months at the time, and you haven't actually done this the normal way. But
Yeah.
It is
exactly.
what it is, yeah.
We did it legit, even though at times it was beyond frustrating with
Yeah.
stuff not showing up or just odd stuff happening. Like anytime in the hard raid, you'd have to go down at the very beginning. You'd activate this pillar and this bridge of light, and then you had to fall down a shaft. But like sometimes you would just die
Yeah,
at the
for no
bottom
reason.
there. And when it's
no
the hard
reason.
raid, you can't respawn. So it's like,
Okay, let's
well,
go wipe. Let's go
I
wipe.
guess, yeah, I guess we're wiping, or I guess I'm just not trying this time.
Yeah. And
And it was,
And we have
and it was dumb.
We had the worst group makeup ever for the hard gauntlet. Five
Right.
titans and a warlock. So like the bubbles were great, and like having
Yeah.
the Fist of Havoc was great, but then eventually I leveled my hunter back up.
Right.
And I had like
That
all the
was the
gear,
key.
and Yeah, I got all the gear and I leveled my Blade Dancer apart, and I was like, okay, this is so much easier now that we have a Blade Dancer that can just stealth through half of this while all
Right.
the enemies attack everybody else, and I just take off to the end and I finish it and teleport everybody. But then so
Yeah.
the House of Wolves came out this week. So Tom, give me your first impressions of what you thought. Like between the last what's it been like almost 14 days now?
Yeah. So if I could describe the Dark Below in one word, it would be grind. And if I could describe House of Wolves
That's pretty
in
accurate though.
2 words, it would be not grind. So, yeah, I didn't know where I was going with the House of Wolves one. But anyway, so it took us a while to get to max level in Crota because we had to go through the raid and all that kind of stuff. Now, with the House of Wolves not having a raid, there's no need for, to farm ascendant energy or, radiant energy or radiant shards and all that. It only took us a week to get to max level. I know both of us did it within a week, one right after the other,
Yeah,
pretty much after the same
it was
instance. But
the reset on Tuesday that we did it.
yeah, and we could have done it earlier if we had felt like going through the Prison of Elders, which is the new, pretty much raid,
Three
the new
man.
placeholder for the raid.
Yeah.
It's a 3-man trial. It's a 3-man wave based kind of trial thing. So we could have easily been max level that first week. We just didn't run through it multiple times because I know we were both incredibly busy. But yeah, so I like the House of Wolves a lot. I like the Prison of Elders. I actually thought that the actual campaign missions were pretty cool.
They
I
actually
mean,
made
they're
sense.
not great.
They made
Yeah,
sense. It had a
they
good
made a
story.
little more sense. And I talked to you about it, and you keep saying like, "Yeah, this is Destiny. That's what Destiny is." But like, literally every mission was go to the spot, fend off waves of enemies, then go to the next spot, fend off waves of enemies, go to the next spot, fend off waves of enemies. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of got annoying, but at the very end, and these are minor spoilers, but at the very end, the very last mission of the expansion, you go back into the Vault of Glass, which is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
just to be like she says over the radio, oh, they're taking over the House of Glass or the Vault of Glass. You're like, whoa, that's cool. And you actually go in there where you fight the oracles and all that. You don't do too much in there, but it's kind of cool that you get to go back. I was kind of hoping that they would do the jumping puzzle part again because that would have just been really funny to watch people die and die and
Just
die.
hours and hours spent
Right.
on one mission trying to get through the jumping
Right.
puzzle.
Yes, you could just see people dying, and it would just say revive. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I am enjoying the fact that the weapons from vanilla Destiny are actually mean something.
Yes.
The Vault of Glass weapons mean something because you can now upgrade anything to max level. Obviously, if it's a legendary or an exotic, but you can upgrade for you Fatebringer, or
That was a
your
good day.
Suros and your
was a-
Red Death and all that. Yeah,
was a good
you can
day.
level all that stuff up to 365 damage or 42 light, which is awesome. Because we actually ran the Vault of Glass last week, and I got
You were
I got
the
incredibly
luckiest
lucky.
guy in the world.
So like the 3 times we had ran it before, because I hadn't done Vault of Glass all that much, because I never did it on the PS4. I did it once, and I got carried the whole time through. But I never got anything but shards or energy, and this time I got 2 of the most coveted guns in the whole game, Vex Mythoclast and Fatebringer. So I kind of lucked out on that one. That was a pretty solid run there that only took us like 20 minutes because we were able to kill Atheon in like no time at all.
Yeah, it took us 2
which is
tries
pretty
or something
sweet.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really enjoying that actually means something and that those weapons actually are viable again.
Yeah.
Because it kind of sucked that it was just like, well, I guess all these legendaries are worthless now. So yeah, overall I think it's great. I really like the Prison of Elders. I haven't tried the Trials of Osiris yet. Because it seems kind of rage-inducing, but the PvE stuff is pretty good.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Trials of Osiris. So this is the problem I had. Week 1, I could have been 34, but I chose not to because I was like, I had Fatebringer in my hand, and I was like, I really want to use this again. I love this gun to death. So my first Etheric Light, I leveled up Fatebringer. Also, like a little bit of a difference between the Crota and the House of Wolves, whether you like it or don't like it. The biggest thing is the the how you level the exotics now. So before, like if you had the say Tom had the 300 um, Suros, that was like his favorite gun was Suros.
Yes.
Uh,
Or Red Death.
if he wanted to level his Suros to what was it 331, he
Yep.
had to wait for Xur to have that so he could level it. Now you can just level it with an exotic shard and like 25 weapon parts and like 2,000 glimmer or something like that similar. I don't know. I have so much glimmer sitting in my bank right now that I don't know what to do with it. If you count my ascendant
Yes.
shards as glimmer, so the great thing about this though is that you don't if you get like say you had a Galahorn or just some random weapon that Xur never like really sold that many upgrades for. You missed it or you didn't have enough like because it was like 8,000 glimmer and then you had to re-level it back all the way up to the top. You no longer have to do that. You just have
Right.
to actually just use the exotic shard, level it, you're done. Same
Yeah.
thing with the same thing with the etheric light. So you get this etheric light from the 34 and the 35 prison of elders. We still haven't done the 35. Just work. Work is just pretty crazy. So we don't have like 24/7 to play these games like we'd love to have. But
Right.
maybe one day, whenever we retire and like the
Yeah.
Xbox 17 is out or something by that time. But no, seriously. But yeah. So you can get 2 etheric lights a week. You can get a weapon core, an armor core. You can get 2 of those a week. You can trade
Right.
an armor core and a weapon core in and get a. It's like a cache, cache, CACHE,
Yep.
that thing. Yes, and you get a weapon out of it. Like I just did it to test it on my second character, my Titan, and I got like
Right.
this sniper rifle, a 365 sniper rifle, and it comes out at 365. It's not like it's
Right, which is
it's,
pretty awesome.
It starts at 334 and you got to level it to 365. Now, if you have old exotics, like say I have like bad juju I never leveled, I put a exotic shard on it and it's like 321 or 323, and I can get it to 365 if I just spend the time to use the
Right.
experience and whatnot, blah blah blah. But uh, these weapons come out at 365, and you actually don't need Ascendant shards, Ascendant energy, Radiant shards, Radiant energy to even level them. It just takes about the same amount of experience that it takes to level a weapon fully, but there's only like 6 bubbles to level now. So it's
Right.
kind of nice. But I noticed something that's wrong with the game right now is I have the chess piece from this week, the 34 chess piece, and randomly it just says like I got an upgrade for my chess piece. I look and my bubble's only halfway full. I think that it thinks
I
that
have not run into that.
yeah, I think that it believes that there was a bubble before that was filled, like it used to be on the old chess pieces, because now there's only like 3
Right.
bubbles instead of like 7 or 8. I mean, it might just be some weird thing that maybe I encountered, because I've seen it twice now. Like the first bubble was about 3/4 of the way when I did like like 2 or 3 bounties, turned them in,
Yeah.
and it said upgrade unlocked. I'm like, oh cool, that was fast. Oh wait, there's nothing actually unlocked here. But it's not a big deal. It was just like one of those like maybe it's just some weird programming error or something. But it's not
Right.
game breaking. It's just might mislead you a little bit.
Right. But speaking of that, in amazing news, Black Hammer finally has Hive Disruptor on it. So you can finally get that yellow box around Black Hammer.
Tom was pretty
if you
OCD
level it
about
up.
this for quite a while.
Yeah, it upset me so much. It's like every other Crota raid weapon has the Hive Disruptor on
Yeah.
it. Why does this one not?
'Cause I
and
know
then they're like,
you- it
and then
had it on
finally
there,
it
didn't it?
happened, and it did, and then it went away after
'Cause I
like,
didn't
the
have-
first week, and I didn't have it.
That was the Crota gun that I was chasing for a long time, was Black
Right.
Hammer. So I
Yes.
mean, I had Icebreaker like week 1 or week 2 after the game actually came out. It was my first ever exotic. I remember I turned in like a Blue Ingram and it popped out
Right.
Icebreaker, and I'm like, what's this?
Son of.
Yeah, I know,
And then
right?
I got it when Xur sold it that first week, and there was some insane
worked
stat
your-
like
you worked
3
your-
million. I worked my ass off to get that thing.
Yeah, you
'Cause
were
I was
up
like
until like 1
3
o'clock in the
coins
morning.
away.
You're up until like 1 or 2 in the morning trying to get it.
On a day where I had to work, I think. But yeah, it was just like, oh god, 2 million people just bought Icebreaker.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
like
we should get a-
2.7 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So
But Black Hammer, I actually like Black Hammer more, other than the fact that it doesn't
If you
respawn
can-
its own ammo. But if you get those 3 criticals in a row, it kills them so fast.
especially on like a big hive, like a night or something.
yes,
It's great, but-
like what's his name, the 32 boss this week.
Yeah,
like,
so a funny
That's
story about that one. The first week it was out, me and 2 other clanmates, not Tom, were doing this. Like Tom was, working the next day or something, and we spent about 2.5 hours, or about an hour and a half, 2 hours fighting this guy, trying to figure it out. Then we downed it. The next day, Me, Tom, and one of those guys go back in there to, so that way I can go through on my second character and Tom can go through the first time. One shot. We have not died to that guy since, just because we figured
Nope.
out how to do it now. So it's just one of
So
those.
easy.
Yeah, but we also, did our best to stay away from
True.
YouTube and guides, like just trying to learn how to do it. So, but if you had to rate House of Wolves or Crota as your favorite, or even I guess Vanilla Destiny, how are you thinking it's coming along? What's your favorite so far?
Um, I guess I would say House of Wolves. I mean, granted, it's like Destiny 1.3 pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
it is iterated upon everything. Like, it makes the Vault of Glass stuff, worthwhile again. It makes everything, all the weapons and gear that you've spent all this time trying to get, it makes it all valid again.
Well, yeah, like
which
you
is
said,
awesome.
like I like the
So,
fact that I can be like, I want to use Fatebringer with, you know, um, uh, Praedyth's Revenge from Vault of Glass, but I want to
right,
use Hunger or Crota from the Crota raid. And those are gonna be my three guns. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to use, but
right.
that's just like an example. I can pick and choose. I can even go back and say I want to use Vanquisher, my favorite auto rifle of all time, Vanquisher
Right.
8. I want to use that, even though it has no modifier, with the Praedyth's Revenge and Thunderlord. Their options are unlimited now, and I love that about it. But
Yeah.
the other thing that I love that I didn't mention was I said before, like the Crota raid, you could go to 31. You can actually just get to 32 this time, which I'm okay with that. Like I
Yeah.
have a couple of friends that have been playing Destiny. I've been helping them out, and now I don't have to. We don't have to keep running through the Crota raid with them. We can just say, hey, do your weekly Vanguard stuff. Get your light 30. Yeah, light 32. Is it 32? No, 36.
Yep. 36.
Get your light 36 gear, leveled up, and we'll start doing the Prison of Elders with you. We
Yep.
don't have to worry about them constantly having to run the Crota raid, needing
Right.
Radiant Shards, needing Radiant Energy, getting to level 4 with Eris. I'm kind of glad that they nixed that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we did it, but you know what? It was relevant at the time. It's no longer relevant, but the raid's still relevant for like the gear and stuff. But I
Yep.
really really like that so far. But yeah, I would agree
Yep.
with you. House of Wolves is better. I just really wish they would have released a raid with it, because right now, like the way that our clan is, like with one or two people kind of missing right now, we only have like 4 or 5 people on at a time. So it's like, okay, who wants to sit out?
It's always the four of
Who
us
wants-
that are
yeah.
like, well, who's not going to play? And no one wants to be like, yeah, I won't play. We're just kind of like,
Who's gonna sit? Yeah, yeah.
uh,
So it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's fine. Some of us just have to run it twice, which is okay. But if you had like if you had like a full-on 6-man team, then I mean you can split
yeah,
them
it'd be
into two
easy.
groups. But
3-3.
yeah, but it's gonna be nice whenever they release that raid, because there was data mined information
Yes.
about the new light level being 39 with this expansion, which I
Yep.
can kind of believe now. But what I would
Yeah.
my speculation for the future, what I'd like to see them do, is make the hard raid relevant more so than just giving primary damage modifiers on the weapons like they did with Crota. Make it to where, like, if I can get to light, say it's going to be light 36 from the normal mode raid, and then we start doing the hard raid, I can get to light 38 instead of just saying, oh well,
Right.
you get
Yep.
the same gear, the same stats, it doesn't matter, but there's a couple of chances of like getting this one or two other items. And it's, to me, like, we did the Crota hard raid like 2 or 3 times, and we're like, yeah, I don't really want to do this anymore. There's no reason.
Yeah, like I got the Fang of Iryut, however you pronounce it.
I never could get a primary.
the-
I got the Abyss Defiant the first week. Can't get anything since. And that was
Abyss
the week.
Defiant, yeah.
That was the week before they nerfed the auto rifles. So now auto rifles just suck. So I'm like, great, I got the one gun that's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, that Abyss Defiant's pretty terrible. Like, the one I have is a scout rifle. I have Abyss Defiant as well. But the scout rifle's really good. Like, I'm sure once I can get some more Etheric Light, I'll level it up to 365. But that was like the one gun, and even then, if you don't have it, who cares? Like, especially
Yeah.
anymore, like, oh, you can level your Fatebringer up now to the same
Yeah,
level.
so I got
like,
my
Fatebringer's way better.
I got my 365 Fatebringer. I got my 365 sniper rifle from the cache, and then I got like Thunderlord and like Truth as my heavies. I still don't have
There you go.
Gallahorn. I don't have Gallahorn. I'm still depressed.
That's the only one I'm missing too.
That's the only exotic that I'm missing, unless there was a new exotic weapon that I haven't seen yet. But yeah, I want to see. I'm speculating that there's gonna probably be another expansion probably this fall, and then maybe
Hoping
one.
Cabal.
Yes, I want a Cabal,
Cabal.
expansion.
Cabal.
I love the Cabal. I
They're so
really
cool.
want a heavy that's similar to the Song of Uryut, that can shoot through the shields like it does with
Yes, that would be
the
sweet.
like it does with the Hive whenever they put up their black shields. Like, give me something that can shoot through their shield or penetrate their shields, hit
Yes.
them for like 50% damage. And then I'm hoping that there's going to be at least one more expansion before Destiny 2. Maybe like, a fall expansion, and then maybe
Yep.
like another update, like maybe late winter, maybe next spring. That might be a little bit too long. And then probably Destiny 2 dropping next September. But once again, this is
Yeah,
the
I'm thinking
speculation that
next
we'd
year.
like to see. So I mean, if it happens, it happens. If not, we don't have any insider information except for the fact that they said there's like 10 years worth of stuff that they're wanting to do. But
Yeah, and the PS3 was supposed to be around for 10 years, so
yeah,
like, yeah, whatever.
no, I think that Destiny 2 needs to only be on the current gen consoles. Let the last
Yeah.
gen start to die off at this point. I
Yep.
mean, the other great thing about Destiny that I absolutely love is the fact that I played it on 360 for a little while with my other friend as I played on Xbox One with everybody else. I could just bounce back and forth with my characters. I thought that was beautiful
Right.
and
Yeah, that's
very,
awesome.
very well done. But yeah. Anyways, so that's Destiny. Tom, do you have any speculation? I guess I forgot to ask you if you had any speculation about what you want to see happen or think is going to happen for the future.
I just hope that future Destiny games somehow you bring your character across. Like they've got to do that. I've spent so much time in this game. Like they need to make it where
They said they're supposed
my
to.
character. Yeah, and I hope it works out well where it's just seamless. But yeah, they'll have to figure out a way to get brand new people in along with the people that put a bunch of time into Destiny 1. But as long as that works out, then I am happy.
Happy. All right.
Yep.
So there was another game that came out last week. I still haven't been able to play it. Tom has been putting some hours into it. Tom,
Yes.
you go ahead, sir. This is all you.
Yes, so The Witcher 3. So I love this game so far. I never played much of The Witcher 1. Pretty much it was just on PC. It was only ever on PC, and I never had a PC powerful enough to play it until like 2 years ago. And
I own
I
it.
tried to go back to it, and it's kind of hard to play.
I own it because I got it for like $3, and I've played
There
it
you
for
go.
I played it for like 2 or 3 hours. I like it. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't continued playing it. But sorry, go
It's
ahead.
the first one is kind of hard to get into. But then The Witcher 2 was a really good game.
That was
that I
on
played about
360
10 to
and
15
PS3,
hours.
correct?
So it came out on PC, and then a couple years later, it came out on the 360 only. They did a huge update where, like, at first it was so impenetrable that people that had never really put time into The Witcher 1 that they had to add, like, they didn't have a tutorial in the game, I guess. So they had to add this tutorial where you're like fighting in waves. At the beginning of the game. But The Witcher 3 is great because it's really easy to get into, but it still kind of keeps all of the Witcher story and like how cool the Witchers are in that world. They keep that alive. So the whole story is you're trying to find this girl named Ciri, who your character Geralt pretty much helped raise when she was a child. So Geralt is one of the last remaining Witchers. Witchers are pretty much mercenaries who go from town to town, pretty much helping those towns, getting rid of monsters and killing bandits and things like that. Witchers are not looked highly upon in their world just because they're pretty much known for only doing things for money. They're not really good people. They don't really care about anyone else but themselves. So
So he's like Boba Fett.
yeah, so like everywhere you go, it's kind of cool. Everywhere you go, people just kind of like give you weird looks. They say weird things like, "Oh, why is there a Witcher here? I wish he would leave." Like so far in the game, I've played for about 10 hours or so, I would say, and I've gotten into like 5 bar fights. Like as part of the actual story, like I
That's
go
awesome.
everywhere. I go into a bar and I end up in a bar fight, and I end up just like killing a bunch of people in this bar. And then the bartender is like, "All right, you need to get out of here. You're ruining all my, my bar. You're driving away my customers." But yeah, so you're trying to find Ciri. Like pretty much that's the whole goal of the game. The wild hunt part comes in. He kind of looks like Sauron from like the Lord of the Rings movies, but pretty much they are from a different dimension or something like that, and they appear out of nowhere. They cover everything in ice, and they're just these masked riders, and they're looking for Ciri as well. So like pretty much everywhere you go, they're going as well. But the whole thing is completely open world. You're pretty much free to do anything that you want in the game. The open world is massive. Like there are so far in the game, there's like 7 different areas that I can go to, and each of them it would probably take me an hour to go from one end to the other, which is pretty awesome. Like this is my type of game where I can just lose myself in the world for hours and hours and hours. And it's like all over the map. There are little towns. There's like abandoned villages and enemies everywhere, monsters. There's like wild dogs, wolves, bears, things like that. And then there are also these weird kind of like half man, half creature things, kind of like swamp people looking things. They're really creepy. But you have contracts that you can do where you can either, go kill bandits, or you can go hunt monsters, or you can go like find missing items for people. So there's always side quests everywhere. Like the entire map is just dotted with, hey, you should go here. There's a quest over here. Here's a thing you can do. Here's another thing. Like there's just stuff everywhere. So it's been kind of hard to go along the story just because I keep getting distracted by everything that happens throughout the game. So I don't know if you plan on playing this one.
I do.
But this is definitely up my alley. Like you can definitely get 100, 150, 200 hours out of this game.
So is it bigger than Skyrim, I guess?
That's what they say. They say it's like 3 times bigger than Skyrim. The only reason it's kind of hard to tell is Skyrim was like one huge map, and you could pretty much go from one end to the other without stopping. This is like a huge map that's split into smaller sections, so it's a little bit difficult to tell exactly how big it is, but it is absolutely massive.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait. I'm going out of town next week for another week for work, so probably when I get back, I might have some more free time to actually play it, but I doubt that. So we'll see though. But no,
there you go.
I still got my list is still full between Destiny and everything else that I played. But no, I played The Witcher 1. I remember Alchemy being a huge part of that one.
Yeah.
Is Alchemy still in 3? I know it was in 2, but not as. I don't think it was as hardcore as 1 was. But I might be wrong.
So you still do a lot of alchemy. Like the Witchers themselves, you have 2 different swords, you have magic, and you have all these potions and bombs and things like that. So the combat can get pretty varied, but the alchemy isn't quite as hardcore as in like 2 or 1. So pretty much everywhere you go on the ground, there are plants and things that you can collect, which if you get enough of each certain type, you can create different potions. And it's things like, okay, now you can see in the dark, now you're going to have increased stamina, and now you're going to have increased power, things like that. So there's a lot of different options for your potions. It's different this time because anytime that you rest, so you can meditate to restore your health, as long as you meditate for, I think, more than 3 hours or more in game time, it will refill all of your potions, any of them that you've ever created in the game at all. So it's kind of nice in that way because you end up meditating quite a bit because it is a pretty challenging game, at least more so than most games nowadays. Yeah, so I've died a couple of times, not a lot, but a couple of times. But you have to meditate a lot so you can always have those potions on you. But you can create like bombs that you can use in combat. You can create potions, like I said, to increase your power versus certain enemy types or just your power in general. And some of those can last for like 30 minutes of game time, or some of them can last for like 30 seconds of game time. Like nice. One of the very first missions you do, you're trying to find a griffin that's been terrorizing this village, and it has you get the ingredients for a potion called Thunderbolt, which makes you more powerful. And the Thunderbolt potion only lasts for 30 seconds, and you can only carry 3 at a time. So you only really have a minute and a half's worth of time with that potion. Whereas like in Witcher 2, most of the potions lasted like 10 minutes or so. But they were also a little more complex in The Witcher 2.
Yeah, The Witcher 1, I remember you had to have like so many ingredients, and like the potions were nice, but they weren't like anything super, super crazy. But
right.
I remember alchemy was just like a huge part of it, so that's what I was just wondering.
Right. Yep, no, it's cool. I really like the fact that it's got all of those different styles in there. Like really of all your like your special abilities, like your magic, there's one that is fire. That's pretty much the only offensive one. Mm-hmm. There's one that casts a protective shield around you, so pretty much you can get hit once or twice before it breaks. There's one that like is the magical trap, so they're like these wraiths in the game, so they're like ghostly kind of figures. If you throw those down, like those things will get trapped in there, and their defenses will go down, so you can attack them. There's one that's like a telekinetic blast, so it can push enemies back, but it doesn't really hurt them. But some doors are locked. Some you can just walk through, and then sometimes you have to like use the telekinetic blast to like blast open the door or the crack in the rock or whatever the case is.
Nice.
And then there's one more that I never use, so I really don't remember what it is. But you have these five magical signs that they call them. So it's pretty cool because it gives you a lot of variety in the way that you play the game.
So I've watched a lot of people streaming. Not I won't say like a lot, but I've watched quite a few people streaming this, and like one of the biggest things I see is just them. I remember seeing like one guy fight this bird for like 10 minutes. It was pretty awesome watching it. Then another couple guys were just like killing like random animals and stuff. Is that like a big part of the game, or is it more just like you said, you get distracted a lot?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's probably
Yeah.
more for you than it is like the main storyline.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm more of the guy that I want to blow through the storyline and then hopefully, I'm not sure if it does it, but have like that Batman-esque thing where like once you finish the story, the
Right.
game's open to you to explore at that point.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will do that. Where if you finish the main quest, there's all this other stuff still going on in the world. But yeah, so they're like the big bird thing was the griffin. Like you get specific Witcher contracts for killing like certain beasts, like more prominent, like more difficult named beasts. Essentially, they're the yellow monsters in Destiny, the yellow guys.
Yeah.
But
The
but then
yellow
there are
guys.
also like if you stay on the path, like there's always paths everywhere from town to town in the game. Like if you stay on those, you're really not going to encounter many like wild beasts or anything like that, or any like bandits. But if you go off the road, like into the forests and stuff, you'll encounter like wild dogs and these lurker things, those like sea monster people that I was telling you about. So it can be a big part of it, and like everything drops loot, so like you're just constantly looting things all the time. So you can use the stuff that you get from them to make more potions or make things at the blacksmith, like different, like pieces of leather, which then can, if you get enough of those and some other materials, you can create armor from them. There are all kinds of like blueprint diagram stuff where you can create more gear and more weapons and stuff. So it is a big part of it is just kind of randomly killing stuff and like doing your actual hunts, which I really like. Like that was one of my favorite parts of Red Dead Redemption was just the whole like, all right, I'm going to kill all these guys, or I'm going to kill all these, these mythical beasts, and I'm also going to kill all these like just random boars or whatever because I need boar hides so I can make this thing. So that's a pretty big part of the game. So it makes it easy, as you can see, for someone like me who would get distracted with that to.
Whereas somebody
pretty
like
much
me,
not
I like
do
to
the story.
I like to stay focused to know what's going on at all times. Because like
Yeah.
I had an issue with Oblivion. Like no, Oblivion was great. I like the Elder Scrolls games, except I know if I start to get into them, I'm going to lose myself for hours. So I try and
Right.
avoid them. Not like it's a bad thing. It's more of like a personal thing more than anything.
Right.
But no. So I remember like I was doing so many side stuff, and then I was like, wait, which one of these is the main quest? I feel like doing the main quest, and I'd start the game over.
Yeah.
And I remember I got to like level 5 or 6, and I was just doing just the main quest, and I got to where I was at before, but my other character was like level like 18 or 19, just because I was doing so much crap on the side.
Right.
But
Yeah.
no. So I really want to see this game. It's been getting really good reviews too. What I've
Yeah.
been seeing, and it's pretty fun to watch on Twitch. I like to watch a couple different people. Just go into the Witcher channel and see who's playing. See who has the most viewers.
Right.
I usually go for like the lower viewers, but usually like if Lyric or like Tally, the people that I really follow a lot
Right.
are playing it, then I'll watch them. But it looks like a lot of fun. So
It is.
Would
It is
you
a very good game.
you'd recommend it? Then I take it.
Yes. Pretty much anybody that likes RPGs at all.
With how much
would
you've been
enjoy
asking
this
me
game.
if I'm going to play it or not.
Yep,
I'm
I
pretty
keep
sure I'd
bugging you
recommend
about playing
yeah.
it.
I
You need
know.
to play it.
I need to play it. I need to play it. But my son needs diapers, and I need to eat food at some point. So
It's okay.
can't afford everything. And I got a car payment, and I got rent, and I got bills. I'm an adult.
I have all of that except for a child, Timothy.
You'd be surprised. You don't have a wife either. So
I don't.
all right. So there was another game that came out Friday. We mentioned Splatoon, and
Yes.
this is. I remember for some reason last year at E3 this was announced, and I did not see it. I saw this. Yeah, we'll talk about those in a minute.
More me bros.
We'll talk about those
Anyway.
in a minute. But no, I remember seeing this about 2 months ago, like out of nowhere. Like they had like a thing at E3. I might have seen it. I might not have. I can't remember. But I saw like a couple of videos online. I saw something on Facebook, and I was like, "What game is this?" And I was like, "This
Yeah.
game looks so corny that it's going to be amazingly fun." I think.
Oh
So
God, I remember first seeing this at E3 when they announced it, and just going like, "Who cares?" Like I was like, "Who would actually?" This is like what? Nintendo making a shooter? Like I don't care about this. Like this looks dumb. And boy, was I wrong, because this game is awesome.
so
It is
what's
so good.
is it just two teams like green, red, blue, orange, whatever,
There's like
whatever?
all kinds of colors. Like you'll go one game, you'll be the blue team versus the red team, or blue versus orange. Then the next game, you'll be like green versus yellow, then purple versus red. Like there's uh there's a lot of different colors in the game. And like you don't pick like, oh, I'm blue all the time or anything. It just auto assigns it to you.
Is there like four team battles or anything like that where there's like a green, blue, purple, and yellow or anything like that?
So for right now, the game is just two teams. It's just one team versus another team. The only mode that they have at the moment is 4-on-4 team battles. So the whole objective is of the game, even though it is a shooter, the objective is not to get kills necessarily. The objective is to cover a greater percentage of the battlefield in your team's paint than the other team by the end of the game. So if
That's
you're on the
awesome.
blue team, yeah. So it's kind of Nintendo-y where it's like, yep, we're not going to focus on kills. However, obviously, if you kill a member of the other team, it takes a little bit for them to respond. So it's more time where your team has the advantage, can cover more of the battlefield than the other team. Um, but like, so if you're the orange team and you're covering the whole field in orange, then somebody on the opposing team comes, they can cover up your paint, and then that area ends up becoming theirs. So like, if anybody played like the King of the Hill modes in like Tony Hawk or anything like that, where it's like, oh, I did a trick on this piece of equipment and it turned red, but my friend did one that had more points, so now it's blue. It's kind of like that.
That's a
So
great analogy.
yeah,
That's a
like
great
it's kind of
analogy.
the same. Like I was thinking about that, and part of it is one of the levels is in a skate park. So so it just kind of popped into my head. Um,
So
but yeah,
I have
so
a
it's pretty
question.
simple.
How
Yes.
does the reloading work in this game?
So the way that you do it is you go into squid form. So as you're shooting, like the only way you can use your gun is if you're in like I forget what they call it. They give it some
Human
different
form.
name. Yeah, but essentially it's a human form. So that's how you're shooting. But if you run out of ink, and the only way you can tell is there's a little bag on your back that shows you. It's kind of hard to see, which is one of my few complaints about the game. It's just kind of hard to tell how much ink you have left. Um, but if you need to reload, you go into squid form by diving into the paint that is your color. So if you're the blue team and there's blue paint on the ground, you dive into the paint, and it refills your ammo. It refills your paint. But at the same time, it also allows you to move around the map quicker, as long as you're going through your team's color. Like if you start walking through the other team's color, you go incredibly slow. Like you're pretty much gonna die if there's somebody shooting at you, if you can't get to them first.
Now, is that just in
So
squid form you go slower, or is it also human form you go slower?
human form too, yeah, and it's kind of cool because if you're in squid form, it makes it harder. Like if you're not moving, you can't be seen in squid form. Now, granted, you can still be shot and killed, which is cool. So if you know that like there's a big old blue circle, blue area, and there's like one orange little circle in the middle, and you know there's an enemy in there, you can still shoot at him and it'll kill him.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh, yeah, so it's nice because you can get the jump on somebody, but if they know you're there, you're not actually helping yourself that much. Um, so if you're moving, you can kind of be seen. It looks like little waves are in the paint. But yeah, but if you go through an opposing team's paint, you're just a little squid on the ground, like you're blue squid on top of orange paint, and everyone can see you, and you can't do anything. So yeah, so it'll stop you pretty much in both ways.
That's cool. No, I really want to play this game. It looks awesome. It's a, it's pretty much Nintendo's take on Call of Duty. It looks like, or
Yes.
like their take on Gears of War. Let's take a bloodthirsty game and just,
Right.
make it like
You know,
Nickelodeon
like
style.
GoldenEye had the paintball mode, but this
Yeah.
is just that to the extreme.
Yep. No, this game does look awesome, and I mean, from
Yeah.
everybody that I've seen that's played it, like John Tron and Pro Jared, and the completionist, Gerard, they've had nothing but good things to say about it. But they pretty much they do like Nintendo games a lot, but
Yeah.
I mean, but it's for good
It's
reason.
a
It seems
it's a
like
really good game.
yeah, it seems like
It
Nintendo
is.
is pretty good about releasing stuff instead of just saying, oh well,
Yeah.
we're just gonna release whatever,
Yeah.
like we're gonna let everybody release anything on this system. So
Yeah, and so you were asked me earlier when I was playing a little bit before while we were getting set up. You were like, "How is the online?" Because it's literally like all online. There's a little bit of a single player, but it's pretty much you're just going through levels, and you got to get to the end and collect um, this one little creature thing.
So it's like Titanfall was, but with a little bit of a campaign, I guess.
Yeah. So there's like offline modes where you can like play against bots, I believe. I haven't tried it yet, but there's like a 1v1 mode as well where you could do like pretty much couch versus mode. Um, which is cool. I don't know how well that would work just with the way the game works like cuz you have different weapons. So there's like your standard like machine gun kind of
Hmm.
looking thing, your assault rifle. Um, then you have a big roller. It just looks like a big paint roller, but it pretty much acts as a one-hit kill for melee and a shotgun up close. So you can run somebody over with it, and it'll kill them instantly. Or if they're close enough to you, you just kind of like smack paint at them, and it'll kill them quickly. And it's my favorite gun because it feeds my OCD of having to paint everything on the level in my color. And then there's like sniper rifles, but the way they work is you charge your shot, and if you charge it fully and hit somebody, it'll kill them in one hit. But you could also like kind of rapid fire it, and it's not as powerful. And then there are different variations for that. There's like as you level up, you gain access to more weapons, and each weapon has its own secondary weapon. So like the very basic assault rifle you start out with has a grenade with it. Other ones have different grenades that like you can throw more of, but they do less damage. There's one where it's like a proximity mine almost, but it only lasts for like 5 seconds. So it's not like you die and it's still there like in Battlefield with the laser trip mines.
Yes.
Then there are ones where it's pretty much just rains down a shower of paint of your color, so you can't really kill people with it because no one's dumb enough to walk into that. But you can kind of slow people from advancing in your area with that. So yeah, so each weapon has its own secondary weapons and like special moves. So you might get a different paint roller like at level 10 than you would at level 1, but the only real difference is that it has a different secondary weapon, which is cool because it's really easy to get all the weapons unlocked at the start, and then you can just unlock different variations with secondary weapons and stuff later on.
Nice.
Yeah, so
No,
it's not like, oh, I gotta get max level and then I have some all powerful gun. Like the guns are really well balanced. Like I think the auto rifles could probably use a little bit more range on them, but like pretty much I'm never like, they're using the OP gun. There's no OP gun in this game because like the paint roller I think is like the closest thing to it, but it has literally no range on it.
So
So
if I see you coming up, I could take you out with an assault rifle,
yeah,
no problem.
yeah. Especially like if somebody's coming at you and you're on your own paint color, you just go into squid form, run back a little bit, and then you can just shoot them and kill them. Like there's pretty much nothing that they can do.
Nice.
So it's nice. Everything's really balanced. There aren't a ton of levels, but the levels they have are really good. There's like different levels.
Hmm.
There's like a low section, a mid section, a high section on some of them. Like there's the skate park one, so there's all kinds of ups and downs and stuff.
Is
And
there
it's
any
that Nintendo colorful, vibrant look that I love so much. So
is there
I love the look of it.
any word on DLC or like anything like that for it yet? Or
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. Like I really enjoy the look of the characters. I like the style of it, but it'd be kind of cool if you could get like, you could be Mario in this or something like that. Like that's a Nintendo thing that they
be
do all the
Link?
time. Yeah, like they did that with Mario Kart. Like, oh, you can play as Link or the Villager now. But like if they had the Villager in this game, it'd work pretty much the same way because the characters are kind of reminiscent of each other.
Yeah.
But it'd be kind of cool just to have, maybe a different mode or two. Like if there was a capture the flag mode, I think it'd be pretty cool. Just because, even if it's like a neutral flag one, um, or like in Halo they have the like an assault game type where you have to take a bomb to the enemy's base,
Hmm.
something like that. Because the enemy would be able to at their area, they'd have more paint there, so it'd be easier for them to like move around. So you'd actually have to take teamwork and all that. But there isn't any voice chat, so that would
Yeah.
be kind of difficult.
That would be my biggest downside for that
That's
game.
the
is
other
voice
that's
chat.
the other downer. Like, but I've played it for maybe 5 or 6 hours or so now, and like it'd be fun to play with you or other friends and stuff. But by myself, even then, it's still a ton of fun.
That's good though. That's good that you're
Yeah.
not required to have like 3 of your friends there playing with you all the time or whatever. So
Yeah. And so I brought up the amiibos real quick because I got them because I got the 3-pack with it. And the amiibos in this game are really cool because each of them is like offers a different set of challenges. So like with those single player missions, like you have your basic auto rifle to start with, but like if you put the boy amiibo character on there, he'll say, "Hey, like, how about you do all these single player missions with a different weapon type, with the paint roller weapon type? If you do it, I'll give you a bunch of coins, which you can use to spend on like new equipment, new weapons, and new gear and stuff, which has different upgrades to it, like increased speed on land, increased speed in the paint, or like increased defense, something like that." And like exclusive armor if you complete certain levels. So it's pretty cool because it actually gives you something to do in the game. It's not just like, hey, it's a new costume, you know, from like in Mario Kart or in Smash Brothers, where it's like, hey, you can kind of watch them fight, and you can fight them.
nice.
Like it's actually something for you to do, and it actually gives you different challenges in the game. But if you don't have them, it's not like, oh, I'm missing out on the best weapon. It's just like, oh, I might not have this costume that these other people have.
That's cool. No, I'm really looking forward to this one when I finally get to play it eventually. Hopefully,
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see. But no, the amiibos, those things are just they're crazy right now.
They got me.
They
It
got
was
you
right
again.
above Splatoon. They were like, here's all 3 of them, and I knew that they had like specific challenges and stuff. So I was like, I
Yeah.
hate you, Nintendo, but
Yeah, my
I love it.
biggest issue with the amiibos, like I love them to death. I think it's a great idea. I mean, they look
Yep.
great. Like Little Mac right here, he looks awesome. But
These ones look really good too. Like they're
yeah.
super detailed.
the issue I have is that Nintendo, they were not mass producing them like they should have in the first place. But
Correct.
it seems like
They
they're
messed-
fixing that now. But
Yes.
whenever I have friends of mine that I see on Facebook and other places that are like camping out to get a Jigglypuff amiibo, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
This little $12 guy right here, you're sitting outside a Best Buy or you
Yep.
know, wherever
It's
trying to get one. Yeah, that's just a little bit insane to me. And I mean, I figure like Nintendo would want to capitalize on this and just start mass producing like crazy, or
So much money.
do the thing that I said a long time ago, opening a Nintendo online store to sell just amiibos.
Right.
Like
Something.
You know,
They
yeah,
need to.
because like I said, I sold a Marth and a Villager for over $100 each. I
That's
made like
insane.
yeah, even like the profit that like the money I gave you for getting them, I think I gave you like 10 or 15, like $15 each or whatever it was, or
Right.
25 for 2. I don't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
anyways, like even taking that money away, it was like almost like $175 profit I made even after shipping.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and I could not. I mean, I'm glad I made that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
but,
Hell yeah.
but no, it's just kind of sad, like the fact that they haven't tried to release more. But maybe they're going to start learning and just. I'm thinking at the end of the Amiibo run, they're just going to re-release all of them online, maybe, and sell them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
I hope.
so the totally forgot what it's called. Electronic Entertainment Expo is coming up. The 16th through the 18th of June. I cannot wait. But there's also a game
Fallout
coming
4.
up. No, a game that is coming out right after E3 this year. It is Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh yes.
I cannot
Oh wow,
wait.
that's like 3 weeks.
Yes, that is coming up fast. So
Wow.
for the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to be talking about Batman. We have a
It's the
little bit of
best.
Arkham Origins to cover, just a little bit. I said, definitely Arkham Asylum for a show, and definitely Arkham City. Then we're gonna have all your E3 news. Probably for 2
Right.
weeks we'll do E3, just so we can actually have time with Batman and not try and be like, oh, this game's amazing. I've only played it for like 2.5 hours though because I don't have time. So yes, but we will be back either this Saturday or Sunday. We'll be talking about. Actually, it'll have to be Saturday because I leave on Sunday. So
True.
we will be back on Saturday, and we will be discussing a little bit of Arkham Origins and probably a lot about Arkham Asylum. So I'll probably be replaying those a little bit this week.
Yes.
I got them on. I got all 3 of them on PC after I got rid of my 360, and they are actually coming out with the whole bundle on the Xbox One and PS4. But I figured that they would have wanted to do that around now. Yeah, like around now. Like let's wait until everybody buys Arkham Knight and then re-release these. Like I would have loved to have played them at 60 frames per second, 1080p, blah blah blah, redigitized textures, resolution 5 million, whatever you want to call whatever the kids are calling it nowadays, on my couch sitting there playing it. Like, yeah, I can get like the 60 frames per second on my computer, but there's just always something nice about just sitting on my couch and playing a video game. So
Right.
But yes, this week was awesome. The last 2
Yes,
weeks. So
3 great games.
yes, 3 great games have come out. So there's plenty of stuff to do, and then we got Batman coming out, and then that's not even talking about what's coming this holiday season.
Fallout 4. I can't wait till they announce it at E3.
They're not going to announce it.
Yes, they
They're
are.
going to announce it. But no, the biggest thing I'm excited for E3 is definitely the Gears of War collection. They're not the collection, the Ultimate Edition that's coming out.
Yep.
It's
That'll
not gonna have 2 or 3 on it, but I'll take Gears of War 1 while they're working on Gears of War 4. Supposedly they're still working on it. I hope this isn't the one they were working on, but
Fallout 4. Fallout 3 is like one of the best games ever made. It's top 5 for me, so I need Fallout 4.
I'm sure you do. But anyways, you guys, thanks again for joining us.
Yes.
If you enjoyed the show, make sure to follow us, give us a like, whatever you want to do. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all that great stuff. But we'll see you guys later this week. Have a good week.
Later, guys. See you.